Hello and welcome back to one more episode of the Overseas Mosaic. This is where we speak with students who've been to the top universities globally and learn about their experiences. Ask them how they went through the journey, ask them what they experienced over there, so that you, as prospective students and parents who are targeting top universities globally, get a better understanding of what life is there. Today, we're going to talk with Anshita Banka, a student from Surat who ended up going to London Business School for her master's and now is back in India and charting her professional journey further over here. We're going to talk to her about life in Surat, preparing, and of course, all that happened at London Business School. So, without further ado, let me welcome Anshita Banka. Hi, Anshita. It's a pleasure to have you with us on this podcast.
Thank you so much, Mandeep sir. It's amazing connecting back with you.
Same here. So, Anshita, as I started in the introduction, let's just go back in time. And I remember the first time that we interacted, I think your class 12 results had just come out. It was COVID, and I'm sure there were a lot of uncertainties in all our minds. But we spoke then, and over the next couple of years or couple of months, I remember we had quite a few conversations. Your mom also got involved in a couple of conversations. And while, to my memory, you were always very clear कि जी बाहर जाना है बढ़िया यूनिवर्सिटी में जाना है. Of course, I'm sure things developed and maybe things changed a little. But what stood out for me, Anshita, was your persistence. I think you were very focused from quite early on कि जी करना है तो कुछ बढ़िया करना है और इस तरीके से करना. So tell me your side of the story. When did this bug, if I could call it that, start? And from the time that we first spoke and then you actually went abroad, what all were you up to?
So let's go back in history. Even before I met you, I
Yeah.
have my family settled abroad. My uncle, my aunt, everyone settled abroad. Like a big chunk of my family. They're not settled in UK. They are in the US, and they're doing amazing things in their life. Okay, and I think growing up, I've seen them make something of their lives on their own. And for me, for any Indian for that matter, or anyone who hasn't been abroad per se, although I've traveled abroad quite a bit, I've been to US, UK, I had always admired the kind of different lifestyle they had compared to ours.
Okay.
And I had this one little thing in my mind always, again, bug for that matter, that I just want to experience it once, right? And I want to prove to
Hmm.
myself that, you know what, I can do things on my own. And
Okay.
doing things on my own, it just does not mean like just settling abroad. And I never wanted to settle abroad. I was very,
Hmm.
I just want to study there. I want to give myself a year to build a life for my own self with my own name. That's pretty
Okay.
much it. Let people know me for me beyond my family name or beyond the things I do.
Right.
Also important, but that's not all I am, right? And I think that was one of the major reasons I wanted to go abroad. Second,
Okay.
I was very clear if I want to go abroad, I just don't want to settle for anything, right? By God's grace, God has given everything, God's given every good things and best things for me. And
Hmm.
if I were to do something, let's make it grand, right? Let's aim for
Awesome.
the and it's a very little saying. There's this really, I think Zakir's reel, which is really trending on Instagram these days, where it says that कभी ऊंचे सपने देख लिया करो क्या पता ऊपर वाला सुन ही ले तुम्हारी.
Wow. Yeah. What's the harm in trying
Yeah,
or, putting in that effort? Absolutely.
and my mother had always, since I was a child, had just one thing very clear for me. When there were little competitions in school and I really didn't want to participate because I was not winning for the longest time, my mother had only one thing: participate.
Hmm.
ट्राई, दैट्स व्हाट यू कैन डू. आगे जो होगा वो तो होना ही है, बट तू ट्राई नहीं करेगी तो सीखेगी कैसे? आई थिंक दैट thing was always inbuilt in me. So while I was trying for universities and I had a plan B, right? If this does not work out, I'll
Correct.
always have backup universities. But today and then, I really wanted tier one universities only. And of course, as you know, right, we had backup universities in mind if
Correct.
it. बट अगर मैं कभी ट्राई नहीं करती तो मेरे को पता ही नहीं चलता ना यार मेरे में भी तो पोटेंशियल है. और शायद
Absolutely.
यूनिवर्सिटीज के लिए बनी हो, वरना we have a very big problem with us that we always second guess ourselves. We don't
Yes.
put out the good things in us, we try to belittle our own selves. We don't need the world to do that. हम खुद ही कर लेते हैं। दुनिया आपको बोलेगी भी ना कि
True.
आप अच्छे हो, तो आप बोलोगे नहीं जी, मैं तो खराब ही हूँ। मतलब
Ah,
ये नॉर्मल ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी है।
correct.
अगर उससे बाहर निकल के लोग सोचने लग जाए तो बात ही अलग हो जाए। बट या
Very true. I want to pick on one thing that you said, Anshita, was as a counselor, I think you really captured what we try and tell students who come to us. Ki participate to karo till you step out, till you try something new. How will you even know whether it is something that you enjoy or you hate or anything in between? So, and as I said, since we've interacted, I've seen you stepping out of your comfort zone, and we'll talk a little more of your life in your bachelor's degree as well. But just share maybe one or two instances while you were still in school, Anshita, which to your mind stand out कि बॉस मैं इतना comfort zone से बाहर step करके I tried something new and I can look back on it today and smile or feel good about it.
we had a really small competition in school. I genuinely don't remember why and what it was at all. There was some sort of, I think I decided to do newspaper making. ठीक है। अब
Okay.
क्या था, क्यों किया तब पता नहीं। ठीक है, और एक ग्रुप असाइनमेंट था। अब स्कूल में जनरली ना लोग एक्स्ट्रा, people don't want to like go out of the like do a lot of things, and I have been someone who does all grand things, okay। वो
Yes.
प्रोजेक्ट बनाने होते थे ना सर, वो भी 100 पेजेस के बनते थे मेरे। एंड हर एक A4 शीट पे बॉर्डर कटी होती थी खुद के हाथ से,
Wow.
डेकोरेटेड। आई स्टिल हैव दोस, someday I'll send it to you as pictures। each border is decorated, it has a small stamping of some sort done by me and my mother, everything handwritten, everything laminated। So, इतना पतला जो प्रोजेक्ट बन सकता था वो इतनी मोटी बुक बनती थी। वो एक्स्ट्रा करने की हैबिट है। तो वो
Right.
न्यूज़पेपर वाले कंपटीशन के टाइम पे है ना, मैंने एक्चुअल न्यूज़पेपर प्रिंट करवा लिया था।
Wow.
So my dadu, so somehow being in Surat, a small city, and coming from a good family, you have these normal level of good connections, right? So dadu called, I got the contact. The newspaper guy agreed, मुझे small quantity में print कर देगा, वो थोड़ा extra charge करेगा, ठीक है। And I then had a set of these newspapers, me and my
Wow.
team, which we wrote and made something called toddler teasers, because we realized there is a gap कि बच्चों के लिए न्यूज़पेपर ही नहीं बनता है, बड़ों के लिए बनता है। बच्चों के लिए तो एक्टिविटी बन के छोड़ देते हो आप। बट
Right.
भी तो न्यूज बतानी है तो उनके तरीके से बतानी है, राइट। खराब हो रहा है दुनिया में लेकिन अच्छा भी हो रहा है, दोनों बताओ, लेकिन टेल इट फ्रॉम देयर पर्सपेक्टिव। एंड राइट आफ्टर दैट I gave it to my tuition teachers and everything, and then it was 11th grade and I got a job offer in 11th grade that we want to
Wow.
work as our editor. I did not accept it, of course. I was
Obviously.
in school. But yeah, that sounded like an achievement for an 11th grader, right? Like I wanted to work as an editor in my company. We have a children's union. I was like, amazing. I think these little things which my parents, my family really supported me with, really put me out of comfort zone. And they really put back that confidence in you, कुछ तो कर ही लेंगे लाइफ में। And these little things really pushed me to dream big. And I had this one dream, hence that I want to go abroad. So mid
Hmm.
COVID, but my family was clear that we are not going to send you for undergrad. And
True.
when I look back, it makes sense, right? मैं 18 years की हूँ, मैं अपनी लाइफ में कितनी ही चीजें समझ सकती हूँ। And as a child, I had always stayed close to my parents. Even
True.
moving to Bombay, later when I moved to Bombay, I realized was a big step for me because
Correct.
I get homesick very easily, and I did not
Hmm.
until I moved out. शायद तब मैं यूएस चली जाती तो मेरी ब्रेन कैपेसिटी का बैंडविड्थ ही खत्म हो जाता।
Understood. So I think what you're really bringing out is see what works for yourself, take those steps which in your mind are logical, the proverbial small steps, and you pointed out the support of families. I think that really is something which is important because as a young child, it helps you take those further steps knowing they're there to support you. Awesome. So let's just fast forward a little to life in Mumbai. And I know that was when we were having a lot of our structured conversations, and you were doing a lot of internships, projects. So one, now I understand why that was second nature to you. But also help us understand how did you or why did you do those, given that graduation itself can be demanding academically and काफी बच्चों का होता था जी graduation में है, let's go out and party. So how did you balance all that staying away from home. Mumbai is a very lively, happening place coming from, I mean, especially if you're coming from Surat, but even for other people. So, how did you manage all that? Walk us through those years in Mumbai.
Before that, I'll take a step back.
Hmm.
Before going to Bombay, I had multiple. So I was still figuring out, right, what I want to do in career. My first option was that I'll do law. My CLAD score didn't turn out to be good. I was very sad. Trust me, I cried a lot that day.
Hmm.
And for a 0.25 percentage, I could not get into the dream colleges, not CLAD. Then my second option was going to Delhi. Uh,
Okay.
India, SRCC, LSR, everything is considered to be like the best colleges, right?
Correct.
पब्लिक स्कूल में नहीं पढ़ना चाहते लेकिन पब्लिक कॉलेजेस में पढ़ना चाहते हो करेक्ट
Right.
I don't know why. Both actually are really good. But either ways, I could not get in for because of a 0.25 percentage. And then Bombay मेरा बैकअप प्लान था. एंड जब ये सब चल रहा था तब कोविड आ गया था. तब
Hmm.
मैंने आपको कॉल किया था रोते रोते मुझे आज भी याद है. लाइक दैट वाज माय फर्स्ट कॉन्वर्सेशन विद यू. आई वाज सुपर कंफ्यूज इन लाइफ कि आई वांट टू गो अब्रॉड. मुझे है ना 6 महीने में बॉम्बे पढ़ रही थी मुझे उसके बाद अब अब्रॉड भेज दो.
Hmm.
बस तब है ना एक बार ही स्टक था कि बस बाहर जाना है.
बाहर जाना है.
घर वालों से बात करके आपने इतना समझाया था कि राइट नाउ डज नॉट मेक सेंस. यू नो मे बी यू ट्राई टू play things in my favor, how you understood, maybe you also understood right then that, I am a child, right? I was a child and I'm still, I've grown up since
Hmm.
then, but I'm still,
Yeah.
your experience will be more than mine any day. तो शायद आप वो पॉइंट समझ गए और आपने तब मुझे समझाया था आज भी याद है. अभी जहाँ हो वो खत्म करो, हम उसके आगे की जर्नी बेटर करेंगे. This actually stayed through the 3 years of my undergrad college with me. Then coming to Bombay, right? When I went to Bombay, I was very clear. In fact, even before going to Bombay, in my
Hmm.
3 years of course, I spent a year and a half in Bombay and a year and a half was online. बट मैं अगेन मैं स्कूल से जस्ट निकली थी. मुझे क्या पता लाइफ में क्या करना है. लोगों को पता है कि उनको फाइनेंस करके
Correct.
बैंकर बनना है. किसी को मेरी एक फ्रेंड को मार्केटिंग करनी है फिक्स है. वो एक मेरी एक बेस्ट फ्रेंड को एक ब्रो लाइक इन्वेस्टिंग में इंटरेस्ट है. शी वांट्स टू डू दैट. आई डोंट हैव एनी लाइक आई डोंट नो व्हाट आई वांट टू डू. ऑल आई
Hmm.
नो इज दैट आई कैन स्पीक वेल. मुझे कहीं भी बिठा दो मैं लोगों से बात कर सकती हूँ अच्छे से.
Right.
राइट. इतना मुझे अपने बारे में हमेशा से पता था. तो सबसे पहला मुझे कहीं से ये प्रोस्पेक्टिव आया. मेरे कॉलेज चालू हुए 3 महीने हुए थे. अब मैं बॉम्बे में एडमिशन ले चुकी हूँ और चालू हो चुका है.
Right.
एंड कॉलेज आई डिड नॉट टेल माई फैमिली. आई टुक अप एन इंटर्नशिप ऑनलाइन with an edtech company and I generated a sales of 60 no 6 lakhs in a span of a month.
Wow.
And I get a 10%, so I earned around 60,000 in span of
And
a month.
this was online while you were still in Surat.
Yeah, online. And it was all
Lovely.
like calls कर करके वो उनका एजुकेशन पैक बेचना होता था.
Hmm.
एंड आई डिड नॉट टेल माय फैमिली अनलेस एंड अनटिल आई वांटेड मनी फ्रॉम देम. नाउ अब तो मैंने मुझे अकाउंट में चाहिए. So, you know, although they support you, somehow, somewhere that friction comes. You just in first year, why do you have to work, right? We are
Correct.
providing, which is correct. But again, as I told you, right, I had seen the US and the UK side of things, and I always felt यार काम करने में क्या ही इशू है.
बिल्कुल.
कभी लाइफ में कोई बोले कोई भी काम दे दो मुझे काम करने से मतलब है. और जब तक मैं काम एंड नाउ आंसरिंग योर क्वेश्चन व्हाई डिड आई डू इंटर्नशिप्स व्हाइल आई वाज इन बॉम्बे.
Hmm.
I do not know what I want to do in life. I can read books and read job descriptions and tick key, I like this, I like this, I like this. But how can I say I like something unless I've done that?
Very true.
So I need the practical exposure, the things of how should the things be done or how am I performing in that environment for me to actually tell if I like something. क्या होगा या तो मैं इंटर्नशिप 1 महीने में छोड़ दूंगी. किसी कंपनी का फ्यूचर तो मेरे पे तब डिपेंडेंट नहीं है.
बिल्कुल.
At least I am able to answer what I actually like and what I don't like, not by reading things, but I have proof.
Actually experiencing them.
I experienced it and hence I know. And if I can't put things I like in my basket, I can at least put the eggs out that these are the things I definitely don't like. Like one of my internships was around Korean asset management firms. Uh, so 3 days, third day in my office, I slept. My manager came to ask me, why are you sleeping? I told him it was a headache, but I was so bored. And
Uh,
then realized, well, everyone says numbers have a great future. it would, I'm sure it has great money, but maybe I can't make that money if I'm not interested in it.
Correct. It
I
didn't
won't
resonate
be,
with you.
yeah, I won't be able to wake up at 9 a.m. each morning and pull my ass to office because I'm not interested. I am not saying that interest should be the only factor in your life
Correct.
to decide upon things, but it should be given some weightage. If I know I am a front end person and I take up a back end role, I know I won't be able to give in my 100%.
Very
So,
true.
तो इंटरेस्ट से आपका करियर नहीं डिसाइड होना चाहिए, लेकिन आप करियर जब डिसाइड कर रहे हो तो इंटरेस्ट को कुछ वेटेज शायद दे देना चाहिए पैसे के साथ भी.
Very true, and that's a very practical advice. And we were speaking earlier. Now I see when you said, a lot of people are reaching out to you for advice, and even kids who are maybe getting interview calls from top universities. So I'm seeing those traits in you. So awesome, yeah, very very rightly put. But so you spoke of one internship, Anshita. Was there some structure behind how you said, "अच्छा, अब मैंने ये सीख लिया in one internship"? Should I look at a different skill set? Or did you just grab whatever came your way?
Okay, so my first internship I told you was as a sales rep in an edtech company, and then my college also had a structure that each when we end a year, we were given a 2 months break. During those 2 months break, 1 month had to be internship and 1 month you can take a break. ठीक है.
Okay.
एक इंटर्नशिप तो वो साल की फिक्स ही है जो वो 1 महीने की करनी है कॉलेज में, अगर इफ यू हैव टू कंप्लीट योर 3 years लाइक इट्स
Hmm.
पार्ट ऑफ द कोर्स. आई कुड हैव,
Right.
now I should not say this on record, it's a wrong thing to say, but might as well. One thing, a traditional way is you use your connections, ask them to give a certificate and you can go ahead.
Yes. That's
But
unfortunately what does happen quite a bit.
yeah, but I just can't, I just have a thing that I can't, I think we have had this conversation, I can't put anything on my CV which I've not done.
True.
मैं भले 1 महीने करके लिखूंगी, but I'll, if I've done, only then will I write that on my CV, or else I would not. This is like one clear moral stance. Then when I was now starting to work, धीरे धीरे I was trying to pick up different industries to work in, right? I did marketing, I worked in finance, I worked, so I could understand that these are the traits of the jobs which I like, and these are the things I do not like, right?
Okay.
Then, when I was in my last year and I just completed my last internship and I was starting my last year, basically, because I was in Bombay and we have like my family has a business there, which is my nan's business. He told me that you join me, and I was like,
Right.
sure. He was like, yes, I'm sure. This is exactly the 2 minutes of conversation we had.
Hmm.
And next day onwards, I used to have a 7 a.m. college. I used to leave from home, go to college, wrap it up by 12:30. Bombays have a very big auto problem. And if you were to go to Andheri East at 12:30, autos do not.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. But every day after a 30 minutes conversation with different auto wallahs, I used to find an auto, go to office, and then from 1:30 to 6:30, I used to sit in office.
Wow.
And so that was the biggest learning point because abhi tak I had only seen the outside of business, right? All the very good parts of businesses
Hmm.
I worked with. When you are working as an intern, an office will only show the good side of theirs, right?
Correct.
But when you actually get in business with family, you realize that it's not all good, but there are a lot of other things to take care of.
Absolutely.
Those 6 months were the best learning period of my life. I was a part of everything because it is again family office, so I can actually sit in all conversations, at least all. I got
Correct.
hands on from sales to finance to decision making to everything. And that really stood out for me in terms of learning. So until that date, I had done a lot of different fields, and this actually turned out to be a little bit picking up from all fields.
And it
So
really brought everything together.
yeah, which made me understand that, I actually see myself as a businesswoman any day.
Awesome. And tell me this now, if you just take a step forward to your applications and when the initial acceptance came and they said interview ke liye aao, do you feel that these experiences made your interview preparation and experience very different? Were you able to highlight these appropriately? Or do you feel chalo maine kar liya acha tha, but even if I hadn't done it, I would still have landed up at the same place?
To answer that, I have to go one step back. most of people, what they do is right after undergrad, they go for their masters. I did not do the traditional route. I
Yeah,
took a break. And by break, I did not mean that I was sitting at home. I was working.
correct.
I wanted to do that to understand myself better, right? In that 1 year, I was working at a very, like, by God's grace, I had this really good job in Bombay. And it turned out to be the best decision I ever made in terms of all the things I learned on the job there and my previous experiences, right? All of
Correct.
helped me understand myself better. And I was no, then I knew what I was doing. मैं like अंधा तीर नहीं मार रही थी क्योंकि सब कर रहे हैं इसलिए मैं कर रही हूँ.
Right.
I somehow had the reason. I knew why I want to go abroad. I don't want to go is because as a fad that everyone is going around me is that I want to go.
Right.
It built on since a very childhood dream. Maybe then it was a fad, but then I could find reasons within myself why I want to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then when I sat in the interview, I'll tell you how my day looked like. And I told this to the girl I was speaking with like last week.
Mm.
I woke up. I was in the middle of my last project with my company. I was leaving the company and I had an entire workday planned, which I could not miss because I had a lot of scheduled meetings. I attended all the meetings since morning. My interview was scheduled at 6:30 or 7 p.m. IST. I came back home at 5. Bombay to traffic ka मान के चलो. I've come back home 5:30. I've reached. I've changed. I just drank my tea or something. I just structured my little bit thoughts and I sat for the interview.
Mm-hmm.
अगर यही मैं पूरा दिन फ्री रखती तो मैं ओवर थिंक करती रहती, मुझे पता है.
Ah,
वो
true.
इंटरव्यू जाता ही नहीं. And when I was giving the interview, I was very clear that I don't want to put. I knew what I've put in my application because it was very clear and very true about the things I want to do. I want then
Correct.
it's very clear that I want to do work for a few years before starting my own thing or whatever. Everything was very crystal clear about the things I had written. And my interview was a conversation with my interviewer. It never felt like an interview, and that's
Absolutely.
how all interviews should be, right? If the other person can very easily have a conversation with me and still bring out the positive and negative traits in me, and I'm also able to give that answers, well, that's a win-win for both of us. It doesn't seem like another hour wasted for him or me.
Absolutely. And I think as a result of all your work and, right from an early age, stepping out of your comfort zone, you were very comfortable with what you've achieved and things that perhaps you haven't. And my guess is you would have owned up to those as well and said, this is something I felt I could have done better or something I want to do. And that's why I'm coming for this education. Absolutely. So I think that confidence which comes from actually doing it rather than just writing stuff for the sake of writing in an application. Yeah, that shines through. So now you're at London. Of course, you had multiple offers. I remember there was LSE. I think was the first of the offers. Then Imperial came in and London Business School. I'm not going to get into too much of what went on in your and your family's mind at that point of time. I remember we spoke, but to at least to me, it was a straightforward decision that you choose LBS. But now, once you reach London, uh, what was it like settling into a new country, new educational system, new ecosystem? What is some of the advice that you wish you had got? So let's spend a little time on that.
um, LBS is not the clear decision for anyone who doesn't is not interested in business or finance, right?
Okay,
I was very clear in one thing when I was going abroad. I don't want to get into another university. अगर मैं अंडरग्रेड में जाती तो मुझे यूनिवर्सिटी चाहिए थी. अगर मैं
okay,
मास्टर्स करने जाती हूँ तो मेरे को I want people who are at similar or a better level of career than I am in, so that I'm
true.
able to get that environment. ठीक है, so then वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग लाने में भी वो पूरा पीरियड लगा था मुझे लगता है. When that constant back and forth between you and me, those calls, all of that. I think I called so many people from so many schools that I knew of. Tell
Hmm.
me more about the university you are in. I looked at so many YouTube videos to look at how a day in these schools looked like. So all of that brought me to this conclusion. And today when I look back, I think the answer lies in the fact this, right? कि अगर मेरे को पता है कि मुझे यही चीजें करनी है एंड आई न्यू दैट आई एम गोइंग फॉर अ स्पेसिफिक एज नाउ एंड आई एम लुकिंग एट अ क्राइटेरिया फॉरवर्ड, तो मुझे वो यूनिवर्सिटी वाले बैकग्राउंड में आना ही नहीं. मेरे को एक बहुत
Hmm.
प्राइवेट स्कूल चाहिए जहाँ 1,000 2,000 बच्चे हो इन टोटलिटी. और उससे ज्यादा लोग ही नहीं हो. So
Hmm.
that's when English stood out. I still remember when I landed in London, I was blank. Uh,
Okay.
I have family there, so I have my bua who stays there. She had come to pick me up. Um, I was blank. That's the only word I have. She picked me up from airport. She dropped me home. She helped me unpack and everything. And so I had no emotions and
Hmm.
no expressions on my face. Maybe I had slept through the 9 hours in my flight and I did not know what's happening. Like I landed in a new country. Acceptance ही नहीं हो रहा था अभी तक तो.
हाँ.
And I think the next or the day after that, I had this one thing in college, a small mixer sort of a thing. And I think the day before, I had a lot of submissions. So, LBS and certain things you have to do before you start the course. So I had some certain admission, those submissions left, and I had no internet at my home. So LBS is an amazing campus. What you are looking behind you is one campus. There's another
Hmm.
campus. And it's at a walking, like a 7 minutes walking distance, and a beautiful campus. Okay, like I used to stay my entire day in campus. Loved my campus. I would say to anyone who goes to London, it should be a part of your itinerary that you visit this campus once. It's so beautifully done. Okay.
Awesome.
So I went there, I was sitting in campus, and अभी तक मैं लोगों से बात करती थी, लेकिन यार अब मैं एक नई कंट्री में आई हूँ, मेरे को इतने अननोन जन मिले हैं, मुझे भी थोड़ा तो डर लगेगा ना लोगों से बात करने में, या थोड़ा हिकअप्स आएंगे. I was sitting in this common area and I was doing something, and then someone had started a conversation with me. So that is a very good part about LBS. Everyone talks to everyone.
Hmm.
You have MBAs, that is EMBAs, MBAs, and they openly talk to you, okay? And so someone reached out to me and we started this conversation, and I felt better, okay? And I went back home again. Now I did not have Wi-Fi till then at my house because I was working from campus. So I came back home to change for that event, I think. And I don't know, I went for the event, amazing event. I met everyone. I came back and then it hit me. Oh, I'm in another country. And waterworks started, right? I called my papa, mama, I wanna come. Even they knew it was going to come at some point in time.
Correct.
It hit me, but I also knew I'm not going to take the next flight back. Come on, let's be honest. One,
Obviously.
one making me feasible, and that's second. I'm not here for that. So it took some time to get adjusted. What really stood out was really good friends. I was able to make a really good group on my, I think, third or fourth day, and that stuck
Hmm.
till the end of my college. Uh,
Okay.
so I feel that if you are going abroad, it's the people who can make or break it for you.
Hmm.
Okay, although everyone says that you should do things on your own, but as it is said that alone you cannot move mountains. You need people, and when you're going in an
Correct.
unknown, you need people, and we all are people's animal, right? चाहे कोई इंट्रोवर्ट हो, कोई एक्सट्रोवर्ट हो, चाहे कोई कुछ भी हो,
कुछ भी हो.
एक इंसान तो चाहिए ही होता है. चाहे आप उसको किसी भी कैपेसिटी में ढूंढ लो अपने लाइफ में, राइट? तो इट वाज द पीपल अराउंड मी, माय फ्रेंड्स, हु मेड दैट रियली बिग डिफरेंस. एंड सेकेंडली, one advice I got before I left for London was from a founder in India. She has this amazing business and she studied from there, that go beyond your comfort zone and make friends who are not only your comfort zone. Uh,
Hmm.
People might get me wrong here if I say that out loud, but don't only stick to your comfort zone, that is Indians.
No,
I have,
absolutely.
I have the most amazing Indian friends while I was there as well, but I made sure to make friends with also people who are not Indian.
No, you're right. Stepping out of a comfort zone, and one of the things as counselors we always talk of, Anshita, and I'm sure you can add more to this. Ultimately, पढ़ाई तो वही है. Whatever you've gone from management, physics, chemistry, psychology. The academic part of it is going to be the same everywhere. What makes a truly top global university is the network. And if you end up restricting your network, आप खुद के पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मार रहे
Exactly. एंड पढ़ाई तो सर मैं आपको बोलूंगी इंडिया में बेटर होती है ऑनेस्टली.
हो.
मतलब जो ऑल द ट्रेडिशनल टीचिंग मेथड्स है कुछ भी हो, लेकिन आपको जो वो प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं लाइफ में एकेडमिकली, वो और कोई चीज प्रिपेयर कर ही नहीं सकती है, ठीक है? शायद
Right.
everyone in the world really likes Indian working ethics and working, like, the culture is not the best culture in terms of this, but the ethics are the best ones, right?
True.
And in terms of network, I think what stood out for me, again, network, but also the diversity. आज मैं
हाँ.
इंडिया में रह के मेरे डिसीजंस एक इंडियन माइंडसेट की तरह ही लिए जाएंगे ना। मैं वहां जब लोगों से अलग अलग ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट्स हो गए, किसी भी चीज में लोगों से बात करती हूँ, तो आई कुड अंडरस्टैंड what an European might think in this perspective, or an American might think in this perspective, or an XYZ country, or a, I don't know what their thinking would go through, and it's a very drastic difference.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is absolutely.
and it is the way you have been brought up, it is the culture, it is so many different things, the way they look at life. I think it's a very carefree outlook to life, and it is very pretty amazing. I think because when you speak with so many people, you understand their perspective to life. You also try to build up yours in a different way. Then yours is
True.
not restricted to the things you've grown up with. It actually develops in the right ways it's supposed to. आज अगर हम बात करते हैं उस डेवलपमेंट की, अगर मैं शायद इंडिया में रहती मैं डेवलप करती, लेकिन उन उन थॉट प्रोसेस से कभी नहीं कर पाती। मेरा थॉट प्रोसेस रिस्ट्रिक्शन आज मेरे अराउंड के जो लोग हैं उनके थॉट प्रोसेस से वैसे ही बनता है, राइट? It would have been more or less a compilation of what I have grown up with. And a
True.
little, those people have been totally brought up in a different condition.
Yeah.
Their outlook to life is very different. So today, when I have to take a decision,
Ultimately, that's what education is. It's about exploring stuff, it is about expanding your mind. And if you stick to only one train of thought, you're doing yourself a great disservice. But since you've come back, Anshita, so now that you're back here and your classmates would be in London and all over the world, structured, unstructured, how are you guys still in touch? What kind of ideations happen? Do you reach out to each other with just an idea and say, what do you think about this? So tell us a bit about that as well.
so two sets of friends, they're different. Okay, everyone's spread across the world. Some are in India.
True.
The people who are in India, I just randomly call on the way back from work or someday, or they call me, and we just connect. Not only like business, of course, or ideas, but also different things. And I know for my peers who are non-Indians across the world, any day I think I have an issue, I can drop them a text, and
Awesome.
I think it was the same for them, right? Just drop a text and we can talk more about it. And you know what? It is not spread only to like only to problems, but also new ideas. And I
Yeah.
know someone is in a company and I really need help. There's a very good, strong album network for that matter. Okay, drop a
Hmm.
text. You have five people with five different contacts, or maybe they themselves who can help you, and straight up you have someone to help you. The
Yeah.
app is really strong, and a LinkedIn reach out also helps at times.
Ultimately, you have to take the first step, but people are there to help you. And I think you've been through so much, and all of you have a similar mindset about going beyond that, that it's kind of natural. Uh, I think while we wrap up the London part of it, I'm not going to get into actual padhai kaise hui and all, but more I just want to talk of a thing in terms of you have about a year there, new country, new culture, right from getting used to the food you're eating and of course the weather. For anyone from India, by the time you reach these colleges, it's the onset of winter, settling into all that. And before you perhaps realize it, you have to start looking for jobs or preparing for your end of the program and all. So, very quickly, Anshita, how did all this pan out? Did it just seem like too much was happening? Are there support systems that the college have in place to help students? Tell us something about that.
What helped me was my friends, my really close friends who had been there a year before me because I took a year's break. They had told me that if you want a job there in London or anywhere, you have to start right when you land.
True.
Mid August end, September, and I wasted my first month of September because I was clear then that I have to come back to India. But then actually the peer pressure really works in favor for you because you start thinking beyond the comfort zone, and I started thinking that I should work in London for some time. Might as well that I'm if I would have gotten a job, might as well I would have stayed. Okay, not a big deal. It's okay. But so I think I started in the first week of October. Then starts to close for certain industries.
Right.
So You have to really start when you land, okay? And although there is pressure, there are people you meet across who were so clear that they were prepping for those interviews back home,
Oh, okay.
even landing in London. So I got my admission in March and I went there in August. So it's April, May, June, July, 4 months. They are prepping during those 4 months also, because they are so clear about what they want to do in life that way, right?
Okay.
When you look at those people, you actually get inspired.
Hmm.
Now, that's your outlook to life, right? When
Absolutely. You can either loathe them or you can feel scared of them, or you can actually say, what can I learn from them? And that's absolutely right.
and those people were so good, like now you've seen people, you start applying, okay? Of course, that is true that in a new country you're figuring out your food, but good dehydrated food options from India really help. That your mother cooks a ton load of food at home. She calls this guy who takes the घर का खाना और उसको डिहाइड्रेट बना देता है, तो आप जब गरम करके खा रहे हो तो घर का खाना ही मिल रहा है.
Wow.
And then I got a really good tiffin service in London that guy used to deliver at home, and really good authentic Indian food. So food did not
That wasn't a challenge.
a very big issue. But so that was there. Climate wise, so what happens is you land in August, September, and most of people go back in December break.
Yeah.
In December break. Come back, sorry. I was there the entire year and I came back after the year only. So जब वो when winter onsets, the depression what they talk about is real, because actually 4 o'clock sunset हो जाता है. आप
Hmm.
जल्दी उठना पड़ता है to have the sun. Uh, but how you survive, and सूरत is not that cold. Anyone who goes from Delhi उसको इतनी ठंडी नहीं लगती है. वो जो सूरत से जाएगा उसको बहुत ठंडी लगती है. So again, right clothing and right set of friends again really help here. I will tell you one thing, sir, I've learned. It's the community and the friends you build that can make or break your life abroad when it comes to applications, when it comes to surviving your life every day. If you think आप सब कुछ अकेले करोगे तो आप लाइफ में
तो
कहीं, वो अकेले करने की चीज छोड़ के जब आप शायद आप लोगों की हेल्प करो, लोग आपकी हेल्प करें, तभी आप वो आगे कर सकते हो. जब मेरे को एप्लीकेशंस करने होंगे, सो नाउ इन टर्म्स ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटीज हैव द सपोर्ट सिस्टम इन टर्म्स ऑफ करियर सेंटर और wherever you want, right? They will come in and help you, but they can only help you in their capacity. उसके
true.
बाद it is the people who know that I did not know anything about that thing. It was the people from LBS, my friends or my other classmates who knew of the things, who were very openly ready to send me application links that this is open.
Wow.
I think you should also apply. There is competition,
Lovely.
but there is
So
also collaboration, and I think you can only see it on the campus where there are five people sitting at bazu bazu, and all five of them are applying for the same job.
true. So there is collaboration even within that competitiveness, and I think that really comes from a culture of that organization, and that's perhaps why some of these colleges are so well regarded worldwide, because they perhaps build that sense of camaraderie as well.
जॉब्स तो सर उतनी ही है, मतलब आप नहीं भेजोगे तो कहीं और से मिल जाएगी किसी ना किसी को.
और क्या.
शेयर्ड, आई स्टिल रिमेम्बर गूगल शीट where we had company names, and जिसको लिंक मिलता था वो कंपनी का नाम और लिंक डाल देता था, and then everyone could use that.
Lovely.
So
That is so beautiful.
again, as I said, you can only move mountains when you are with people.
Very true.
That was really bought out in the time I was there, and that is what you carry on throughout your life.
So tell us about what you're doing now in addition to being a local influencer. Professionally, tell us what are you doing?
Um, so I have come back and I've started working in my family business. So currently I am working on the current business which we have, which is in furniture manufacturing. Plus I'm trying to expand and start my own line within that as well. So two things simultaneously: understanding the current business, bringing more systems, bringing more systematic, structured approach, which I've learned, trying to figure out how I can meet midway between the structured and the unstructured approach, and starting my own new line. So yeah.
Lovely. Awesome. And I don't know, I know there isn't a definitive answer to this, but how much of an influence is the 1 year that you spent abroad at LBS? exerting on all this, or is it just your outlook पहले भी था, step out of your comfort zone, look at how you can work with the community, so it's just second nature and LBS just helped you polish that?
There is no definitive number to that, of course, but what I can say is that कंफर्ट जोन से निकलते हुए अपने आप को हमेशा देखा था, लेकिन इतना कंफर्ट जोन से निकलते हुए नहीं देखा था ना, ये तो पूरा ही अलग था. You can, your parents are financially supporting you, but you have to ask them for money, and pound rate is too high. I don't know, people don't like to speak about it, but it is expensive,
It is.
right?
It
And
is
you can always ask your parents for money, they would not say no to you, but you start thinking twice.
true.
And rent is super expensive, living is super expensive, everything is expensive. And I was drinking mineral water, which is also expensive. So so for the first time I was managing my own finances.
That was a
So
learning in itself, I'm sure.
and saying no to things. As a 20-year-old, I never used to say no to my friends to go out. But saying no to my friends that no, I can't. And I think learning to say no is a very important thing in
Yes,
every, not only in relationships but also in business.
very
Uh,
true. So, but
as
we
much
have
as
to end. We have to end on a positive note, Anshita. So, tell me, despite all this, कि London महंगा है, etc., etc., what would your advice be to someone who were to say, I am keen to study overseas, and for the correct reasons? What would you say to a 17-year-old, 16-year-old who would approach you?
I would say, first of all, congratulations. You have taken the first step that is dreamt big,
Okay.
dreamt out of the comfort zone. So, congratulations, you have taken the first step out. My second thing would be that is a goal in life, or that is, but that is not the end to your life.
Yes.
Get in, amazing, kudos to you. You do not get in, it's okay. I'm sure life has better plans for you. When I
Right.
was at the age of 23, after being through all of that, I know it is very difficult to understand when you are in that shoes and someone is telling you. Someone would have told me then, I don't remember today. But I would have thought that, bro, what are you saying? My life is dependent on you. And I understand. You feel,
Right.
बट कभी कभार ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, जो लोग बोलते हैं वो सही बोलते हैं. जब मम्मी पापा बोलते हैं ना ये बात की, यार मैंने दुनिया देखी है, तो शायद
Ah,
बोलते हैं वो दुनिया देख के ही बोल रहे होते हैं आपको.
right.
उनकी एडवाइसेस लगती गलत है, चुभती है, लेकिन वो होती सही है, आपके अच्छे के लिए होती है. तो of course congratulations, you thought of things outside your comfort zone. Two, you get in, amazing. You do not get in, I'm sure life has amazing things for you. Now if you're starting to prep, structure your approach.
Hmm.
Like, don't just be like मैं academics में ले आऊंगा, मैं GMAT GRE ले आऊंगा. नहीं, किसी भी कॉलेज हो यार, छोड़ो. आप अपनी स्टोरी किसी को लाइफ में बताने बैठोगे और बोलोगे यार मैं पढ़ाई में बहुत अच्छा था, तो क्या कर लिया कोई उससे? आप अपने आप को जानो. इस पूरे प्रोसेस में सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट वो होते हैं. आई थिंक व्हाट स्टूड आउट फॉर मी वाज, throughout my process of getting into LBS versus when I got in, I was, today I can tell you what I am beyond what I achieve.
True.
राइट. व्हाट वी टॉक ऑफ दैट, मैं इस कंट्री से हूँ, मैं इधर से हूँ, मैंने लाइफ में ये अचीव किया है, मेरी हॉबीज ये हैं, या ये. बट व्हाट इफ आई वांट टू नो यू, यू आर बियॉन्ड दिस.
True. Very true.
Start to know that person, and the other things will अपने आप start falling into picture for you. I think if you start knowing yourself, then you will be able to figure out what college suits you based on that. Or maybe if it's a tier one college, very good, but at times
It's
your,
not.
it's not, your goals are pretty much achievable in the tier two college. Then that makes more sense for you, right?
Absolutely.
Then once you have started answering that process, enjoy the process. That's it.
That's
You know,
important.
I
Beautifully
remember
said.
you asking me this question that Bombay is a very happening city and so is London, and how do you manage all of it? You need to at time, you know what is really done everywhere in the world, that hustle is good, but hustling is really like, I don't know, I'm the lack of words. Like, it is shown that if you
It's
hustle, you will be
overrated.
overrated. You have to hustle, you have to work hard, but you also have to work smart.
Yes.
आपको अपनी लाइफ में उतना खींचना नहीं है कि आप एक्चुअली ब्रेक डाउन आ जाए. छोटे छोटे ब्रेक्स देना इज नॉट बैड. एंड बैलेंसिंग आउट योर सोशल लाइफ, your academics and your work life, right? that when you're able to strike that balance, Maharta has said this, sir, that when you have to leave one thing to achieve one thing, understand you'll not be good at both things. Striking the
True.
right balance will help you achieve great lens. And I think that is my ending note, that strike a balance, stay happy. I'm sure things will fall into place for everyone because God always has a better plan. And I'm sure no one's hard work or smart work fall goes wasted. You get certain returns at some time in your life. You just need to very patiently just do what is in your hands. That's it.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast, Anshita, and thank you so much for giving us so much advice straight from the heart. Your experience definitely shone through, and I really hope that more and more students get the opportunity to interact with you, reach out to you, take your advice. If parents, prospective students, if you're watching this podcast, I hope it's been something that you can take away from this. Thank you so much, Anshita. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to many more interactions, many more conversations with you over the course of time.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me. It was a pleasure speaking with you again.
So there you saw it, Anshita's journey from Surat, and she highlighted instances of when, as a young kid, she stepped out of her comfort zone. She would always try and do that something extra, and that second nature really helped her while she embarked on this journey. She spoke about the importance and the requirement of family support, how those small, small things that a family can do to support you helps you not to second guess yourself. Do not undermine yourself and trust that you have the capabilities to achieve those goals. She also spoke of the fact that don't let failure define you. Some things don't work out. Do not lose hope. It's important to be clear in your own mind कि मैं करना क्या चाहता हूँ, where do I really want to go. And I think a fact that she really brought out repeatedly was the power of community. Even though you're at one of the top universities in the world, do not assume that people are only there to cut each other down, to pull each other down. There is a lot of value in community. There is a lot of value in the network. And that really is one of the key takeaways if you're targeting studying at one of the top universities globally, is how that network, how that community can help you. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Overseas Mosaic. And I hope you continue to derive value from these conversations that we are bringing to you. Have a nice day.